What is up, guys? Delboy here. So, Maurice Hooker defeats Terry Flanagan by a split decision to become the new WBO light welterweight champion of the world. I've got to say, I'm not super surprised about Hooker winning this fight. Leading into it, the conception in the UK was that this is basically a free title for Terry Flanagan, and Flanagan was going to comprehensively outbox and school Maurice Hooker. Now, I felt Terry Flanagan was just about the favourite, and I actually picked him to win the fight close. But I said to people, Flanagan is not good enough to comprehensively beat someone like Maurice Hooker. Hooker is limited. Hooker is raw. Hooker is ungainly. Technically he's not great, but he's big, he's rangy, he's wiry, he has power, and he's awkward. Flanagan is not good enough to comprehensively beat this guy, and I was surprised by how many people were so cert on Flanagan easily dominating this fight. But regardless, I also got this fight wrong. I said Flanagan close on points. Wasn't the case. Maurice Hooker won the fight by a split decision. I felt he didn't clearly win the fight. He won the fight. It was a close but a competitive fight, but I don't think there's any way you can score that fight to Terry Flanagan, to be honest with you. One of the cards for the only card for Terry Flanagan was 117, 111, and that was shocking as far as I'm concerned. How that judge got that card, I will never know. But the right man got the decision, so that's great. Terry Flanagan's feet in this fight were terrible. Flanagan does have good movement. He can sort of bounce in and out. His feet are relatively quick. But in this fight, obviously Terry Flanagan is a southpaw, and Maurice Hooker is an orthodox fighter, and his money punch is the long right hand. Terry Flanagan was circling into the right hand. That was a schoolboy error. I couldn't believe his trainer never pulled him up on it. Barry Jones spotted it in round 2, where, this guy was just circling into the right hand. And that's the only punch that Hooker really has, is a right hand and a jab. And Flanagan was rolling into his right hand. And that's a shot that Flanagan continually got caught with throughout this fight. Flanagan did have success here and there. I felt he abandoned the straight left to the body. Early on that shot was doing wonders. It was really scoring well. When Flanagan was in and out and when he could maintain a rhythm, he actually did outbox Hooker at stages, but he never maintained that throughout the fight. His feet were off for the most part. He struggled with the height and reach of Maurice Hooker. And not only that, I feel that Terry Flanagan felt what was on the end of those punches. I think it made him reluctant to sort of bounce in and out. Flanagan he's that type of fighter. He likes to bounce in and out, get his work off and get out. And, he wasn't really doing that against Maurice Hooker. As the fight drew on, Terry Flanagan got a cut on the eye and the forehead. Both accidental clashes of heads. Nobody to blame. In fact, Terry Flanagan was the one being reckless with his head. To a point where it was becoming blatant. But yeah, the second half of the fight, it kind of turned into a big sort of a maul fest. Both guys are on the inside holding a bit, clubbing to the body. But the clearer, harder shots, for the most part, were always coming from Maurice Hooker. And he just out-gritted, out-toughed, out-strengthed Terry Flanagan to win the decision. It was an ugly fight, but it was an intriguing fight and I enjoyed it. Terry Flanagan did show good toughness. He got caught flush by several right hands, and he did show a good chin. So credit to Terry Flanagan for showing toughness, but I felt he got his tactics wrong here. He really got his tactics wrong. And Maurice Hooker, like I say, he didn't really do anything special. Jab, right hand, and he made the most of his size advantage. He didn't do anything special. I felt Flanagan really got his tactics wrong. But Terry Flanagan is a solid fighter, but he was never a world-class world champion. I know that sounds like a silly thing to say, but if you've been following boxing, you know that not all world champions are world-class, and Terry Flanagan is one of those type of fighters as far as I'm concerned. He's a good fighter. He's a European level fighter, maybe a bit above European level, but I don't think he is a genuine world-class fighter. Not enough strings to his bow. The power's not there. Tactically, I don't think he's great. I recall the Petrov fight where You know, he really never made any adjustments in that fight. He just let Petrov come on to him, never made any adjustments. But also the Derry Matthews fight again. You know, I just feel that Flanagan is a European level fighter, maybe a bit above that, but he's not truly elite. And at 140, I really struggle to see him winning a world title. You know, you got guys like Regis Prograis who holds a title. I mean, the amount of right hands Flanagan was getting hit with by Maurice Hooker, man, if that was Prograis, he would have been knocked out. You know, he took too many right hands in this fight. So he's not going to beat a Prograis. Would he beat Hooker in a rematch? There's a chance of it, but I wouldn't pick him based on what I saw tonight. And he's not going to beat Jose Ramirez. You know, he's not going to beat a Josh Taylor. I really feel 140 is going to be a bridge too far for Terry Flanagan. You know, maybe he might need to see if he can move back down to lightweight. We'll see what happens. What did you guys think of this fight? Peace.